Today I'll be showing you how I made my first 3D VTuber model in just 1 month. This isn't a step-by-step tutorial, so if you have any questions I can try to help in the comments. The programs I used were Blender, Paint.net, Unity, VSeeFace, and OBS, which are all free. I began with browsing Pinterest for clothing ideas. I knew my character would be named Maple, so I wanted an autumnal layered look for her. I did a few loose thumbnails for her design until I landed on an outfit which I really liked, which was this one. I drew a new sketch in Paint.net, then Googled for brown color palettes, which all looked terrible because I was trying to keep the jacket brown. So I went back to Pinterest, made this board, deciding to try a few different outfits, ultimately sticking with a similar design but with a denim jacket instead. I redid the sketch again and refined the color palette down to these 4 colors. Next I finished the character sheet and ended up adding red as the 5th and final color. Onto Blender, I made this head which I scrap and redo later, then the full body and outfit. And finally adding the base colors. Please don't look at my textures, they are so ugly, I'm sorry. Back into Paint.net, I drew some mouths which I made in Blender out of a plane. If you want your mouths to blend into one another, this probably works, but I wanted it to look like UV or like texture-based animations, so this ends up being scrapped. Next I rigged and weight painted her. It took me 5 days to do this one step. Weight painting is literal hell. To keep myself sane while weight painting, I made some pins and a patch for Maple's jacket. The patch being a reference to Hatsune Miku because I have one personality trait. Finally, when rigging was done, I put her in Unity, then VSeeFace, and saw how bad the mouths were looking. So currently I have it set up so the shape keys are moving the mouth from the inside of the head to the outside, and you can see it looks pretty scuffed. While waiting for help from a 3D artist, I added shading to Maple and began work on UV-based facial features instead. Once I was taught how to do the UV blend shapes, Maple was back in Unity, then VSeeFace, and I finally got to see the results. This is how the eyes and mouth look when I'm sliding the UVs on the texture. I now also can change the emotions. A little happy, angry, sad, scared, blush, and all the mouths, they alternate for the different emotions as well. The final touches I did were I made a low poly background as a stream asset and 2 layouts, one in standard 1920 by 1080 and one in 1920 by 1200 for my personal monitor size. Here are all the assets working in tandem. I never used Blender, Unity, or VSeeFace before, but I was able to figure out the basics of them pretty quickly. In a month I went from never 3D modeling before in my life to having my perfect little dumpling Maple ready to stream. I hope this motivates someone to try making their own model. Lastly, I gotta thank my partner Ben and all my friends who supported me during this. It really wouldn't have been possible without you guys, so thanks so much.